Okay, for the first exercise, or the first circuit, it's one series resistor, one resistor, 6-volt power supply, and 1 amp. So when we divide 1 into 6, we end up with 6, and that gives us the resistor value of 6. So for the circuit, we need the 6-volt battery. It shows here it's 6 volts. You can't change that. Bring in the switch. And here is the resistor, and you see the resistor right now is 4 ohms. I'm going to change that to 6. There you go. You can see now that the resistor is 6 ohms, and then I'm going to connect the wires and test the circuit, and it says it was successful. 6 ohms, 6 volts, 1 amp. The next circuit is 3 resistors, 12 volt power, 1.5 amps. If we divide 12 by 1.5, 12 divided by 1.5 is 8. So our 3 resistors here have to equal 8 ohms. And since they're in series, this is how we're going to do that. In order to get 12 volts, we're going to have to put 2 batteries in series. We need our switch, and then we need 3 resistors. And I'll set all the resistors, and we'll go back and input the resistance values. So for resistor number 1, since we need 8 ohms total, I'm going to make this one 3 ohms. I'm going to make resistor number 2 3 ohms as well. And that leaves 2 ohms I need on resistor number 3 to give me the total of 8 ohms in the circuit. And I'll just connect the wires. And test the circuit, and that does meet the requirement. All right, on the third one, it says we're going to have 2 resistors, 24 volts of power, 1.5 amps. If we divide 24 by 1.5, we come up with 16, which means that our 2 resistors have to total 16 ohms. In order to do 24 volts, we need to take 4 batteries in series. And we need our switch and 2 resistors. And right now the default on the resistors is 4 ohms. I'm going to change that to 8 on that one and 8 on R2 to give us our total resistance of 16 ohms. Connect the wires. And test the circuit, and that was successful. That one, 24 volts, 16 ohms, 1.5 amps. So now the questions, it says as the voltage increases, what must happen to the resistance in order to keep total circuit amperage constant? So we saw on the second ones, we actually increased the voltage by double, but we kept the resistance, or actually we doubled the resistance as well. It went from 8 ohms to 16 ohms. But yeah, I guess in the question, if the voltage increases, the resistance must go up in order to keep the circuit amperage constant, which was 1.5. So the resistance must increase. And the last question here is 3 resistors need to be placed in a series circuit. Total resistance equal 40 ohms. Which of the following sets of resistors will meet the requirements of the circuit? If we had 125 and 110, that would give us 35, and then another 15, that would give us 50. That's not the right answer. 2 10s would be 20, and 120, 2 10s, 120, that's 40. And then 3 15s would be 45, so we're going to pick number 2, and that is the correct answer.